we're just gonna let the nostalgia kick in. For those that don't know, I never played FS15 on the PC platform. The only way I ever played this game was on the PS3 back, I believe after a year after this game came out. If you guys don't know me though, I'm your host, the Randleman Buck. Welcome to the Throwback Thursday special featuring Farming Simulator 2015. One thing I did not know about this game though was the fact that County Line actually came out on FS15. I thought that was a 17 map. I actually already have a little farm set up on the main plot it gives you when you start the save game. One thing I also forgot about was that you sound like you're in Minecraft when you're walking around on this game. Yes, I am playing Farming Minecraft Simulator. Oh, the dog. Why can't we have this dog? That's a cool looking dog. Anyway, besides the canine, here is the main farm. This is what County Line looked like back in FS15. It's been a hot minute. But yeah, I never actually played FS15 on PC. I always saw all the videos. This is probably the game that I watched the most amount of content on back in the day. And look at this. Look at these features. With the County Line map buyable objects, you could literally like preview what things would look. I didn't have my headphones on the first time I did that. What was that? Okay, so yeah, you can literally like build these things. Let's see what happens if I build it. Nice. So we have a new shed. That's really cool though. I didn't know it played the final countdown when we started. Either way, we'll get to our actual line of content, which is this 4455 Soundguard John Deere. It's got the Moco mower behind it. And in the shed, first of all, there's my regular truck. This 2013 F-150. Loved that thing. And then the 2010 King Ranch Super Duty. This truck brings back so many fond memories for me. This is like my favorite of all the trucks that ever came out. And by FS15, 13, and just old game standards, you guys got to think. This was like top of the line interiors back then. This is unmatched. Heading into the shed though, we have ourselves the JCB skid steer, along with a smaller John Deere, what is this, 864 round baler. I gotta get this thing. This thing's really weird. It doesn't like to fold correctly when you get out of the game. But the oxbow rake, we'll use this to move our hay into the middle of the row. Got the repair costs. This 5115M. We also have my favorite lawnmower other than a Deere or Kubota. The Walkers. I love this thing. I vote we kind of get this day started. Manual ignition. You gotta let the engine preheat. Why some of these features never came back with manual ignition is beyond me. But I'm gonna have to figure out how on earth I'm supposed to get this thing out of here.
12 seconds later.
Well, yes, the game is great. It's moments like these that just keep making farm sim. Let's jump our way over to the field and we'll see if we can start cutting some grass. If you guys do like throwback content on the channel, be sure to possibly consider dropping a like and maybe even subscribing down below. Throwback Thursday wasn't intended for this week, but you know what? It's kind of fun to be able to say I finally played this game. Plus, this truck drifts like no one's business, and I'm in love with it. Can rip down some county roads in this thing. I think in the simplest terms, this truck would be Grant's favorite just because of how easy it slides. Look at this thing. Using the old sound guard, though, we gotta get ourselves over to the field. There's one thing I don't really miss about FS15, though, is some of these really weird camera angles that these would have. Get selected there. Nice. Even though this game did have what they call the dev console, by pressing that little squiggle line to the left of the one, you can't change the camera angle that's in the tractor itself. Like if I were to get out and use my character, I could change the field of view, but I can't change it while in the vehicles, and that kind of sucks. I do gotta say though, that grass on the roadside ditch, even though I can't cut it, I love the textures that are on that. It just looks so much better. Come to think of it now, I'm not gonna be baling all of this, but on a fun side note, if you guys did not know, this is actually the first game that the modern-day Giants engine is based on. FS13 was on a different version of the software, so a lot of stuff that we could technically do to help make our thumbnails better, to do all of these other projects, as we might call them, they were all founded and started in this game. In 22, the Giants engine is version 9. This, I believe, would have been version 7 or 6. The next game, though, is going to be Giants Engine 10. It'll be interesting to see in FS25 just how much different the engine will be by the sounds of it, with the water ripples, the shadowing, the lighting. But we also have to remember, this is where it all started. Looking at the inside of this tractor, though, for 15 standards, this is actually a really good mod. Because you got to think about it. Models were scarce back then. People weren't really making things as much as they do now. And the quality threshold of mods back in the day was a lot lower than it is now. There are mods, though, like this 956 Moco that I really wish were in 22. I know we have a Moco, but it don't look anything like this, or at least anything as good like this. Besides Farmer Joe just rocking it up there in the cab. Another thing I can't seem to get to either A, work, or B, it just wasn't able to do that back in the day, is I can't seem to hire a worker. I can't hire Daryl, I can't hire Corey, so we're gonna have to do all this work ourselves. That's a lot of grass, and I don't even think I cut out half the field. I will be interested to see how the oxbow rake works. I think we'll just speed this up with a time lapse, get some good fashion cutting of grass in, and I'll see you guys when we hopefully get all this grass mowed.
The city life and the crazy nights. Figure I should probably give it a try. Maybe check it out, see what it's all about. But the traffic was fast and the money was slow. The people I met you never get to know. I kinda miss this place I used to live back home. Cause up here it's breakneck, paycheck, rat race. What's next? I'm tired of feeling like a small fish in a big pond. I think I'll go back where I came from, where everybody knows my name. My friends are still the same. I guess the slow life hit me just right, like a bonfire on a cold night. Hell, and you can keep your 9 to 5. Happy with the simple life.
I apologize for this taking as long as it did. I did not think this was going to take this long, but I need to ask you guys a question. I love to ask you guys stuff. What was your favorite iteration of the Farm Sim franchise? FS13 is where I started. I would be stern enough to say that FS17 was by far the best of the games, programming-wise, like the physical game physics. People made scripts the best then. The game itself ran the best then. The quality of the mods for the time it was out was probably the best. But nowadays, I honestly would still have to say it's probably 22. I just don't see any logical reason to believe that even like 19 is better. There's so many little things and the differences between the two that really set them apart. You already know the drill. Let me know down below and give me a little story. When did you guys start? Where did you start? Who told you about it? Just I'll see if I can maybe read through the comments on some of these. It's always interesting because I had a buddy of mine I graduated with. He showed me FS13 one time, and it was between FS13 and John Deere Drive Green. I think I picked the right choice. Once we wrap up with this, though, I don't know how 15 really worked because Seasons wasn't a thing until FS17 came out, and I think I'd have to ted this grass if I really wanted to make it hay, which I don't have a tedder. I got $200,000 to work with. The map when I started out gave me $750,000, so it's not like I couldn't go and buy one. It's just I don't want to drive all the way back to the dealer, which actually I don't. I could just reset it, and it resets like on the bottom left side of that field. It's our last pass, though. We'll figure it out.
A few moments later.
That all chopped up. I'm gonna go grab that oxbow. I'm gonna keep it on the 5115 just because that tractor is big enough to pull that thing, or at least it looks like it's big enough to pull that thing. We'll find out eventually if it's got enough power. But we're gonna make some bales, put them on the big PJ flat deck trailer that I got sitting right on the other side of those silos with the 250, haul them off and sell them. Not even gonna worry about any of this grass, or if I am, then, well, We're not gonna do anything. I completely underestimated the size of this field. It is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. To the people that actually cut and bale fields that are that big with a mower like this, kudos to you. Like that sucks. Now this oxbow rake, I was looking in the credits. I always like to see the modders that were back in the day, because I remember a couple famous ones. This has got a lot of different controls that we got to look at to get this right. I mean, I could just row that in, but it's one pass, so I'll just worry about it with the baler. So I want to put this thing to lower you. No, I don't want to raise you. I want to lower you. Gotta lower the windrower. There it is. So they're all to the left. Okay, I can do that. I can work on that. What the? It's throwing everything to the right. Oh, I have to set it to that. Okay. I got it. We're figuring it out. This tractor's a little bit nicer, though. We don't have that weird camera angle, and I was early at modding, too, so I can't really complain too much. But this is another big reason why, looking back at some of the old games, it's really easy to see why we migrate and move to newer ones. It's not that the game just, I hate to say, stinks, but there's just a lot of old features that we're kind of glad were there put to rest and we got what we got now. I think when we come back through, though, just to make sure these are all in an adequate windrow that the baler can pick up, that right there is what I mean back there. Oh, I'll be dang. There he is. LBJ. It's stuff like that. Like, that looks like it's meant to be on the model. Oh, he did it on both wings. That's cool. But there's a prime example. Modders used to put, like, a lot of time and creativity into these things. We still definitely do, but it just doesn't feel as much of a heart as there used to be. Like, it was a lot harder to mod back in these days. People that could mod these days are the front runners as to why we have some of the scripts and the moddings and the codings that we have today. Because if you guys were able to script and mod for one of these games, then modern farm sim is literally the biggest piece of cake there ever was to cease existence. This is one kind of windrow I've always wanted to see operate in real life. I always found these things fascinating, because it seems so simple as to how it actually operates, and it almost seems a lot more efficient, because you can change the direction of the belts, you can raise it, you can lower it, you can make it different widths. It seems so efficient. They are expensive, though. This thing was like $90,000. Something I did find surprising, though, is how, like, available FS15 mods still are in the current day. Mods that you can't really find nearly as many mods for games like FS13, because that's a 10-year-old file. This one's not very far behind it, with this year making this game be 10 years old. But it still is amazing to know how many files are still up and working correctly for a game like this. Didn't take me too long to find stuff like this either, just John Deere mods, google.com. What I am disappointed in, though, is the amount of time it took to cut that with the mower and how many passes we made, and it's just 4 passes with the baler now. I'm going to run it back around the outside one more time, then we'll try and get the baler out. It's always amazing to see how far the bale physics have come in these games. I haven't played with bales in FS15 before, so I couldn't tell you if it was garbage or if it was good. We're going to find out here right after the break. To make a long story short, yes, we do have to tread the grass, but I did kind of want to try out one of the in-game tractors just to see how it looked and see how it acted. This thing's actually pretty nice. I do like the fact that in modern day we have the ability to change the colors, add weights, add duals, change tires. This day and age, it's just you double-click the vehicle that you wanted and it bought it and it set it at the store. There was really no interactiveness to the process. I forgot that 17 was where that actually all happened. 13 and 15 were still just, you go into the store and you buy it. I do wonder, though, how visible is the beacon? Now that's a high visibility beacon. Why can't beacons be that visible anymore? Now it's like you can't even tell the thing's on. Look at this. Let's back it up. See, look at how far away we are. I can still see that. That shines brighter than anything. I was trying for the longest time to figure out how on earth am I supposed to see like the PDA and reset vehicles, because if you press the escape button where everything's at now, it's just literally settings and briefing. I'm like, where the heck is all this stuff? Well, I forgot that back in the day you had to press I, and I shows you all the different menus of the pricing, the storage, the growth, whatever it was. So that's really cool to see all the interactiveness of that stuff pretty much just be brought back. It just really brings me back. I'll get this grass tatted up though, then we'll grab the sound guard once again, get this stuff baled up, and then it'll be on to loading bales.
2 hours later.
Finally though, after re-raking everything, we're going to need to get a pressure washer once this is all done, because if you guys haven't checked out the world's greatest farm soap yet, I highly recommend going to check out my buddy Andy over at Andy Clean. Andy's been helping keep my mowers and my farms clean for as long as I've known the guy. Andy's been helping keep my farm and my mowers clean at all times. But if you guys want to meet me and Andy at Farm Progress this year in Boone, Iowa, we're going to try to both make our best efforts to come out there and see you guys. I totally bail at 14 miles an hour, as that's the most realistic thing that I could do. We, after everything that we did, made 2 rows. But that is like 8 rows wide of stuff, and that was one cutting. This is going to fill up the baler real quick. If I can get at least 4 bales out of this, I'll be happy. Oh, that beeper used to be so loud. Oh, wait, that's not the... What's the button to unload it then? Oh, it's... Oh. Such a tiny little bale. What a legend. Oh, I gotta turn it back on. Dang it. Now that I've shut off my equipment, though, 2 or 3 times, I'm actually not using the steering wheel. You guys are probably noticing that by the way I've been driving. I actually use Moser Racing's Truck Sim steering wheel. It's a fantastic wheel. It's really great, high quality. But sadly, I think the wheel support just wasn't as good as it was nowadays, which is another key thing as to why I prefer the new games over old games. Yeah, that Ferrari steering wheel you guys could get that's usually pretty decent and cost efficient. It'll save you money, but the quality build of it over time, it's better to spend a little bit extra money to get a quality wheel. If Moses out of the budget, I highly recommend checking out Logitech. It is times like this where I do wish I could hire a worker to do some of this stuff, then I could have at least tried to get my drone shots. But doing a little manual labor never hurts. And to top it all off, that is all of it. Besides this little spigot right here. Not gonna have enough to make another bale, but I just hope that the dinger isn't going off. No, it does not. Great. Fantastic. Wonderful.
Everybody on? Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus!
Let's get this thing back over to the shed, get out our massive flatbed, and we'll load up some bales. If there was a time to not have good physics for the game, this would be it. We're going to use our JCB power boom to get these bales loaded up on the PJ back there. Bales have never not been interesting in this game, so I'll be excited to see how this works. Yeah. It doesn't spin out like the other Ford does, but you know, we got a job to do. We can't be partying. Yes, it's kind of stupid to have that long of a trailer for this many bales, but you know what? I don't really care. It's fun. We're all having fun, right? I am noticing though that the controls to the skid steers are inverted on the tilt feature than they were in 19 or any of the games that I've played before. Like if I were to usually go right, that would tilt down. Now it tilts up. So that's gonna have to take some getting used to. I don't know why, but these bale physics seem pretty loose compared to past days. Gonna need a new taillight after that. Let's try that again. It just seems like I honestly like these bale physics. Maybe not hauling them, but it just seems like it's very loose, almost like it would be real. Hey, come back here, you. Don't be running away now. It just, I literally feel like I'm picking up an actual bale. It's loose, it bangles around. Wow. Where did we go wrong with the bale physics? Depending on how they sit next to each other. If they don't sit next to each other nice, then this is all ruined. Yeah. I like that. So there are some things about 15 that seem a lot better than 22. Some of these games, it just felt like the developers had more heart in them, I think. Jumping back to the statement I said earlier about Giant's engines, to note that yes, this is roughly the same engine that 22 plays on, a big change that came in between 17 and 19 was the integration of the materials system. You guys don't know what that means, us modders do. That is when we stopped going from diffused texture wraps, aka if you were to take off the texture on this skid steer, all you would see is just a big giant white blob that looked like a skid steer driving around. They did not have the materials where we could tell the difference between metals, plastics, rubbers. You could see it on the tires, but when you look at stuff like the inside, everything on the inside is dull, but everything on the outside is shiny. That's one reason why 15 and 17 always looked so shiny, or kind of like this where everything was reflective, because everything was a texture. Nowadays, we have the incorporation of the materials where you can get a metal look, you can get a plastic look, you can get a wood look, you can get a whatever kind of things that the engine offered. It's all like separate now. This is still all old stuff. It's just safe to say that modding has really come a long way for this game and how optimized it is for the average person to just get in and learn it. If there's any game that you guys would like to learn how to start somewhat programming for, this would be the game to do it. It really is not that hard to understand how the code is laid out, and you can really make some cool projects for yourself when you're on the PC platform. Now, if I'm correct, the hay should be able to be sold at fruit type, lime, sunflowers, pig, piglet, beef, cow, silage. Where's hay? Should be able to have hay in here somewhere. There really wasn't that many crops in this game, was there? Why can I not find the hay bales? There it is. That's having like a panic attack of 5 to 6 cents. So like 40 cents a pound? It's like 6 cents a pound? I don't know. But I do know this. So the growth, fruit types, this is really not helping me in the slightest. I'm going to head to where I think I can sell these things, and we'll go from there. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. On one hand, this map seems very dated, but on the other hand, it just looks so much better. Like the quality of the textures, the quality of the map. I mean, if this was the first place that this map came out on, playing this map back in 15 must have been like God tier. The famous Casey's gas station, where Grant and I started many, many videos on his channel, not mine. If you guys can see the part that says auction on the map, that's where I'm going to try and take these bales in hopes that I should be able to sell these things off. I really don't know if I'm able to sell the bales because I haven't played 15 before, so I couldn't tell you. In 13 you used to be able to sell the bales, I think, but I don't remember how or where. 22, it's just the animal dealer. There's where Grant's farm used to sit. I just found it funny that there was a gas station right in the middle of the map right there. Man, I can't drive, can I? See, if I had to cut this field, I probably would have cut more. Oh, there's cows moving. I like the cows. What did the cows look like in 15? I don't remember. Only one way to find out. Bessie. They actually don't look that bad. Do they have a tongue? Hey, can you... Hey. Wait, is he like smiling? Stop moving. Dang, just like red cows in real life. They don't ever listen, do they? Don't you talk back to me. Oh, it's got a mouth. Is the mouth open? Okay, I'm not working with you. You're mean. Hi. This cow sounds like it's in labor. That or the bull's getting mad at me. Either way, let's try and sell these bales. Auction. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's just grain. That's not bales. We cannot sell them here. That's fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Well, if it's not at the cattle farm, then I might head down to where the horse farm would be, because that's another place that might actually take the bales. If we can't sell it there, then I honestly think I'm just going to get ready to end out the video, because I don't really want to have to fight this thing as much as I think I'm going to have to. Is that a Union Pacific train? Woo! Yo!
Wait a minute.
And that is a long train. Holy cow. I also didn't realize this, but 15 has working mirrors. I think that was the first thing as well, because 13 didn't have them. At least to my knowledge. The map just looks so good in 15. At the post office, antiques, man, we had some really cool looking buildings back in the day. Man, this place really did look different. Ford dealers in a different spot. The country store, I really wanted the country store. Oh, so it used to be just a Ram dealer, all right. BP, that's still there. Tractor Supply's still there. There's just a vacant lot. More houses. Man, this place used to be hopping. Wow, this looks a lot different than it did back in 19. It's almost like it was made for this. Here's the money question. Can we sell bales here? I would think we could, but I'm also not 100% sure. And I can't pick the bale up to figure that out. Dang it. I think, honestly, I'm gonna call it right there. I'm pretty sure that's a good representation of how far the game actually has traveled from FS15 all the way up to FS22 and the soon-to-be-released in November FS25. So thank you guys all so much for tuning in, checking this one out. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the Boomstick Club for all the up-to-date content from me and the gang. You guys already know who is in it. I shall see you all in the next one. This is Rental Man, out.